Okay, the members of the Resolutions Committee are the Reverend Deborah Drake, St. Agnes Little Falls, the Reverend Joseph Harmon, Christchurch East Orange, who is my co-chair, Miss Diane Nelson, Christchurch Hackensack, Miss Chris Stenner, Good Shepherd, Lincoln Park, the Reverend Canon Dr. Sandy Wilson, St. Andrew and Holy Communion, South Orange, Miss Pat Yankus, St. Paul's Patterson, Mr. John King, Secretary of Convention ex officio, and Ms. Diane Sammons, Chancellor ex officio, and I am the outgoing chair of this very dedicated and talented group. The Resolutions Committee met on Tuesday, December 1st, after the November 15th deadline for the submission of all resolutions. The resolutions were reviewed following the rules adopted for this procedure. In several instances, resolutions were reformatted or revised, and there were no resolutions held back from consideration by convention. This year, there are a total of 4 resolutions, none of which were placed on the consent calendar at that time. The resolutions that will be brought to convention are entitled 2016-01, Closing Congregations, 2016-02, Legacy of Slavery, 2016-03, Declaration of the Diocese of Newark as a mental illness stigma-free organization, in 2016-04, recommend book study, The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness by Michelle Alexander. Since our December 1st meeting, the Reverend John Hartnett, who is the sponsor of Resolution 2016-01 that you will find in your packets on yellow paper, has accepted the changes as recommended by the Resolutions Committee, and with his support, the committee has decided to place that resolution on the consent calendar. This decision was approved by the Resolutions Committee last night and is consistent with the rules of order, which indicate that there is no deadline for amendments to our decision prior to the first day of convention. Having been placed on the consent calendar, this resolution is not subject to amendment or debate, although John may speak to the resolution for a period not to exceed 1 minute. That said, are there any sponsors here that would like to speak to any of these resolutions? Seeing none, if you disagree with the Resolutions Committee's position, resolutions may be removed from the consent calendar with the agreement of any 3 congregations to remove it, and the Secretary of Convention must receive exclusion requests before the start of the first business session in writing, signed by at least 2 lay deputies from each of 3 congregations and at least 3 clergy listed on the roll of clergy entitled to vote in the convention. Resolutions not previously submitted to the committee for this convention will be permitted from the floor upon a 2/3 vote only at the start of the first business session of convention, and only when they carry a clear statement in writing of the circumstances that led to the request for their consideration. Such resolutions should be duplicated in advance by the sponsors with sufficient copies available for distribution to all convention deputies, and we believe that 550 copies are needed. The hearing will be held on Friday, January 29th, following the business session. After the hearing, the committee will meet and may amend the resolutions or recommend substitutions. Decisions made at the hearing will be reported to the deputies on Saturday when the resolutions are on the agenda. Does anyone have any questions? I think we're done.